Welcome back to the Southeastern Sports Report presented by State Farm. I want to thank Coach Sean Brady for spending some time with us just a few moments ago as we looked ahead to Southeastern Track and their upcoming outdoor season here in 2012. The Southeastern men's basketball team recently had a home game in the University Center as they took on Nicholls State in a Southland Conference matchup. Let's go out to the University Center and check in with Matt Sullivan, who had the highlights.
Coming back to the University Center is Southeastern playing 4 of their next 5 at home. The Lions took on arch rival Nicholls State. And early on, Sam McBeath scoring 2 of his 16 points in the ball game. The Lions with a basket by Antonio Benton. And then Benton finds Elgin Bailey inside. Bailey, who scored 9 points in the ball game. Southeastern led 28-26 at halftime. Bailey setting the screen for Deshaun Patterson, who drives to the basket and scores. Patterson finishing with 4. And then Roe Johnson loses the ball but gets it back. Gets it the short jumper, scoring 2 of his 7 points for Southeastern. Jeremy Campbell, who finished with 16 points, 1 off of his career high set earlier this year against Western Kentucky. Campbell finishing 7 of 12 from the floor. The Colonels with another 3, this time by McBeath, who was 4 of 7 from long range, and the Colonels were 8 of 17 from three-point distance. And then Brian Hammond drives to the basket, scoring 2 of his 6 points, and in the second half it's tied at 34. Darian Populus coming off the screen, scoring 3 of his 9 points in the ball game to give Southeastern a 49-46 lead. But then Jerry Smith, the former John Ehret product, he scores. He was 4 of 4 from the floor. Patterson follows with a basket for the Lions as he finished tying a career high with 10 rebounds. And then Dantrell Thomas finds freshman Shane Rio, who finds Smith with a left-handed slam. Nicholls finished 19 of 43 from the floor for the ball game. And then Todd Nelson steps inside the arc. He scores 2 of his 4 points for Southeastern. A turnover by the Lions. And it's Thomas who finishes off and scores. He'll throw in the free throw to give Nicholls a 3-point lead. Johnson would get the offensive rebound. He would dish to Jeremy Campbell, who would score on the jumper. But then Thomas gets the deflection, but Smith is right there for the putback. Smith finishing with 3 rebounds in the contest. Jeremy Campbell missing from the free throw line, as Southeastern would go 7 for 21 from the floor. Bailey would get the offensive rebound. He would miss, but Roe Johnson is there. He gets fouled, misses the first free throw, but would make the second. And then Johnson would try to score underneath. Populus coming off a fake, he'll score. Populus on the night, 2 of 3 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And then the freshman out of Brother Martin with a quick step past Patterson, he'll score. And then Bailey gets the friendly roll as Bailey, 4 of 9 from the floor, 9 points and 4 rebounds. And then Bailey again will work on McBeath. He gets fouled underneath. He'll go to shoot free throws. He'll miss the first and will miss the second one. And then Smith with under a minute to play for the Colonels. Again, a basket by Bailey with a chance to give the Lions the lead with 44 seconds left, but his free throw was short. And Nicholls would close out as Hammond would drive to the rack, would go over Bailey with the left hand. Southeastern would have one more attempt. 3 at the buzzer is short. Roe Johnson gets the offensive board and put back, but after a review, the shot was nullified, and Nicholls State defeats Southeastern 55-53. Jeremy Campbell led the way for the Lions with 16 points. Bailey and Populus had 9 points each. Deshaun Patterson finishing with 10 rebounds for the Lions. The Lions will be back at home in conference play on February 1st when they host Lamar University. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off from the University Center. And then the Lions on February 4th, they will host Sam Houston State at 6 p.m.
Thanks, Matt. Coach Lori Davis-Jones' women's basketball team was recently at home as they took on the McNeese State Cowgirls out of Lake Charles in the Southland Conference matchup. A big crowd was on hand as the Southland Conference Television Network was there, and it was Jam the Jungle night at the University Center. Let's go back out to Matt Sullivan and check out the highlights.
Lynn Rollins and Van Chancellor in the University Center for the Southland Conference Game of the Week. Southeastern taking on defending champion McNeese State. And early on in the ball game, quick basket by Ashlyn Baggett, who finished with 21 points to lead all scorers. But Southeastern, with Latoria Holder getting behind the McNeese defense, she scores, ties it up early in the ball game at 4. A long three by Baggett. Baggett, who was 3 of 7 from long range, she finished with 12 points, gave McNeese a 7-4 lead. Asia Gibson, the baseline jumper, she scores. Gibson, 2 of 7 from the floor, 7 points and 8 rebounds. Cut it to a 1-point ball game. But then Ashlyn Baggett drives the lane. She finished 7 of 16 from the floor, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Also grabbed 4 rebounds. And then with a short jumper along the baseline, as McNeese was 11 of 27 from the floor in the first half, 41%. Lady Lions, trailing 11-6, get the steal by Holder. She'll score, cuts the lead to 11-8. But McNeese would close out the first half with a 22-6 run. A three-pointer by Caitlin Baggett gives McNeese a 16-8 lead. And then it's Martika Hull driving to the basket, scores. The Cowgirls leading 24-8 with 6 minutes to play in the first half. Rwana Gatlin with the handoff and a turnaround jumper scores. Gatlin finishing with 6 points, was 3 of 7 from the floor. Crowd of over 1,200 on hand for Pack the House night in the University Center. The Lady Lions would open up the second half with a 7-0 run. Kelly Jenkins driving to the basket. She would score and would convert the three-point play to cut it to 33-17. Southeastern, with the defensive pressure, gets the steal. And Jenkins would bring it into the front court. She'd find Holder behind the McNeese defense. She would lay it up and good, 33-19 with over 10 minutes to play. He missed 3 by the Cowgirls and scrambled for the ball. And Holder would get it, would drive the length of the floor, lay it up, would force McNeese to call timeout at 33-21. But that would be as close as Southeastern would get. Baggett would drive into the lane, would score on the off-balance jumper, would put the Cowgirls back up. The Cowgirls would eventually pull away. Amber Crenshaw wide open for 3 from the right corner. She scores, her only 3 of the ball game. She finished with 6 points, was 2 of 5 from the floor. And then another 3, this time by Jessica Summers. Summers, her only basket of the ball game. But McNeese right there as Gatlin gets the miss and scores 56-28. Gibson would finish short, but Crenshaw's there for the offensive rebound and putback. And McNeese would go on to defeat the Lady Lions 60-36. Holder leading the way for Southeastern with 8 points. Gibson had 7. Amber Crenshaw finishing with 6. Southeastern fell to 5-11 on the year, 0-3 in league play, while McNeese State remained perfect in Southland Conference play at 4-0, while improving their overall record to 14-4. The Lady Lions will return home on Saturday, January 28th, hosting in-state rival Northwestern State at 2 p.m., and then the Lady Lions will be on the road until February 8th when they return home to take on UTSA in a 7 o'clock contest at the University Center.
Thanks, Matt. It's time for a break, and when we come back, we'll check in with Coach Jay Ortiz and his Lion baseball team, and also take a look at the 2012 version of the Lions softball team under Coach Pete Langlois. Stay with us right here on the Southeastern Sports Report, presented by State Farm.